So we are on the start line again for this semi-final of the Hambleden Pairs Challenge Cup between the pair from China, Luang Shi Yu and Yu Ru, and on the other side the pair from Cambridge University, who are Tricia Smith and Pippa Whittaker. And Kath, someone who knows about Cambridge University women's rowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant to see a pair racing on Saturday. It's a big ask for them to be up against an international Chinese pair, but they've got some class. They've been racing at trials. They come out of a really strong boat race crew, and their aim is to hang on. They're going to try and front load the race if they can, but you can see the Chinese are already showing their international class a little coming out of the island there.
Well, both crews have made a pretty decent start. Really nice steering. Brave steering as well from the Cambridge crew, I think, staying close to the island, and actually the umpire's gone for the flag and got the Chinese crew to make a correction, get themselves back onto their station. They probably don't want to get involved in any kind of clashing. They want to make sure the umpire stays very much on their side, and I think they've made a decent correction there. They've opened a decent lead in front, but they want to make sure they keep the gap between the two boats.
So for the Chinese, they're coming out of the middle of their racing season. They've been at the World Cups. They'll be heading on to the next World Cup, to the World Championships as well. They've been making the final of the World Cups so far. They were 5th at the World Championships last year, so they're on a route to Tokyo. Cambridge girls are increasing where they've been and getting this Henley Regatta experience on top of being part of a successful boat race programme.
As you say, yeah, the Cambridge crew both successful in the boat race 2018. The Chinese crew over here for 5 months. They're heading to Nottingham after their time here in Henley to use the facilities up there. But if we look at this race, we can see they've got a really lovely rhythm in that Chinese pair on the right. The pair from Cambridge here, Smith and Whittaker, having to keep the stroke rate a little bit higher, trying to keep the connections just as effective and keep in contention as much as they can. And they've checked the move of the Chinese fairly effectively.
I think they're doing a good job, Tricia and Pippa. They've been rowing partly on the water here. They went back to Cambridge for a couple of days because sometimes if you're in a pair and you're on this very tricky water, it can start to sort of pull you apart a bit. So they went back to Cambridge for a couple of days and then came back down again on Thursday to prepare for these really final weekend races. And they're coming from really quite different backgrounds. Pippa has raced in the lightweight boat race, the blondie boat race, and the blue boat. She's won in all of those races. She's one of those girls. She started at college and has had, an incredible career. And now to be rowing on the Saturday at Henley Royal Regatta is a fantastic experience.
Well, what a fantastic journey to have had through her rowing career, and now to be racing against one of the best pairs in the world on Henley Saturday in front of a crowd that I don't imagine you'll row too many times in front of this many people.
Exactly, and they're going to want to really hang on with the best that they can. They were looking at the times, the first markers. There wasn't such a huge gap. The plan was to see what they could do in the first bit. But of course, in a pair, it's easy for the Chinese to turn on a bit of power early on and say, look, we're here. They don't want to have a kind of lung buster today. They want to prepare for the next day. And so there's some tactics, and sometimes when you're in pairs, you've got more scope for tactics, haven't you, in the smaller boats?
Yeah, in the pairs you want to have some decent communication between the two rowers in place, don't you? Want to be on the same page in terms of what you're going to do, how you're going to handle the situation. And often if you go and get that chemistry, you get something a bit special. You're able to produce special kind of results.
They're a nice mixture of experience in the Chinese team. The stroke girl was a junior 10 years ago, won a bronze medal in 2009. She's been at the last World Championships, and so she's got a lot of experience. The bow girl's a little less experienced. She's come into the pair in 2018, and so that's often quite good, isn't it? You get that mix of the experience of the international racing, that that wiseness of how to manage a race like this with the youthful exuberance to kind of push things along and say, come on, are we going to be able to get higher up in the next World Cup final? How are we going to do this? They've been fifth at the World Championships, 4th in Plovdiv at the first World Cup, so they're there or thereabouts, but they haven't got on the podium yet in this pair, and that's got to be their mission.
I'm sure it will be their mission, and as you say, in the rowing boat you need to have complementary skills to make this thing work well. So yeah, one of you with the oar on one side, one with the oar on the other, that looks simple, but as you say, those complementary personalities, experiences, ages, desire to maybe speak up to the coach, maybe desire to stop and think before you speak up is often really fantastic.
Nice shot of the pair here. They're really well set up. This is not easy water to row on. and they're doing a great job making it look really stable, and coached now by Paul Thompson, who's been the coach of the GB women's team from 2000 to 2018, and he's a big technician. He will be getting them doing all sorts of exercises so that actually they are rock solid, whatever's happening in the water beneath them. And you can see that great shot from behind. It's not easy to do that when you've got one oar each, so you're very dependent on the other one. You've got to really use them like two halves of a tightrope walker's pole to get the balance. Really well balanced, really impressive.
Well, when those blades pop in or drop into the water, you lock everything solidly up, as we see this Cambridge pair still trying to get solidly locked onto the water, not missing anything if they possibly can, coming out to those straws that we see taped to the side of the boat to mark their length. It's an old-fashioned marker, but it still works. Keep reaching out, keep coming around your rigger, drop the blade into the water, lock it on and move it past.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. You can see they're just a little bit less stable than the Chinese. That's that little bit less technical experience, technical level of skill. So they're just rocking around a little bit more, but they're, you know, holding to their plan. They've got to produce their best performance, be in their boat. Trisha at bow, she's in the middle of a PhD in material science, and Pippa's been doing an MPhil in finance this year. So, you know, they're impressive academic students at the same time as doing, you know, twice a day training most days. So, you know, it's brilliant for them to be out here.
It is brilliant for them to be out here, and they've been able to benefit from a really nice program that Cambridge University women have put together, and I know you've had some involvement with that.
Yeah, and it's all about creating a system. The students, you know, come, they will last 2 or 3 years maybe, so you need a system that's going to give you the sustainability through that. They've actually had a change of chief coach this year. Robert Webber's come over from the US, and you know, he's been really sort of getting up to speed on the wonderful, weird world of the boat race, and bringing what he's got to add, his experience of under 23 championships with the US team. Works with Paddy Ryan, who's been working particularly closely with Pippa and Trisha, and he's been there for a good few years at Cambridge and doing a really good job.
And what do you think it's done for the women's boat race to be able to have that showpiece event on the same day as the men's boat race, getting so much more attention and getting to race in front of that massive crowd and TV audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's transformative for student rowing, for international rowing. Of course, it brought in sponsors. You can see the Newton on the back of the kit that we're watching out of Trisha at bow there. Yeah, it's a different platform. It means that we can do more to develop young rowers in the sport coming through the university level. We look to develop, and we also then can attract rowers who've got academic ambitions to come and row in the boat race. So it's a great platform for women's rowing.
Well, it's been great for us to be able to see women's rowing at this level. Great for us to see this Cambridge crew racing on the Henley course up against the Chinese crew, who are heading probably for the World Championships in this combination. Heading for Nottingham next with Paul Thompson and Tom Kay, who also coaches that program, who was with us back in the team back in the 90s. But they're heading down towards the line now, very much in control of this race. Enjoying this Saturday afternoon, enjoying the slightly tricky conditions, but they've handled them beautifully on this Saturday afternoon. We see this win for the Chinese pair, who will come across the line and take a moment as we see the crew of Smith and Whittaker from Cambridge University coming across the line now. And we'll see confirmation of that win in the Hambleden Pairs Challenge Cup for Lin and Yu over Smith and Whittaker. So I really enjoyed watching that race, and my entire